Hello. Today, I want to speak something. I want to talk about a topic that I I always remember. I remember this quote, and I try to remember always. Um, but today, I fall into that trap, and I don't feel good about it. So the title is "We Suffer More in Our Imagination Than in Reality." So just this afternoon, um, I was at a cafe planning the things that my company can do in 2026. There are some of the clients that we are very happy to collaborate with, exciting projects. Um, but there are still some clients that we really hope that we could work with them, and they have also expressed interest. But things are just moving a bit slow, and it kind of make me anxious because ideally, you know, I of course we all want to chase certainty. Like who likes uncertainty, right? So if let's say I'm able to make sure that the next 6 months is booked out, I don't have to worry about finding new clients for the next 6 months. I think that would be the best case scenario, but in real life it doesn't work that way, right? So as I was writing the planner. I was like writing the planner for next year. Um, the more I write, the more I get anxious about future, and that feels very funny to me at that moment also because specifying goals is like writing your ideals down, and ultimately your ideals will become the judge. You know, like if you couldn't achieve your goals, does that mean that you are being unrealistic about your goal, or are you just not that capable of achieving them? you know and hearing my thought, I feel like, would I be overthinking? I don't know. uh but the I feel like one way to think about this is that I might be overthinking too much, right? If I were to share this problem with someone else, like I just share with you all, I feel like it would be very natural for people to reply something like, Fong, I think you are thinking too far. Uh, you, uh, are you able to feed yourself? Are you able to put food on the table for the next few months? Yes, right? Then why are you worrying so far? Just let the future unfold for itself. It's not like you are not doing anything, right? In fact, you wrote a planner for what you would like to do for the next few months. So it's not like you're rotting, right? And if someone to say that to me, I would agree, you know. But I still, if I go somewhere else and become alone again, I will start to have that doubt, right? You know, uh, like how how great would it be if there's really, if I'm able to do something right now to make sure that there are clients that I could secure, that I could work with. And that was one of the theme that I realized lately. And I think back, you know the idea of like we suffer more in our imagination and than in reality is that it it's because that we imagine so much we become we hold ourselves as the hostage of whatever beautiful that could happen. So, for example, let's say, you know, sometimes I go to the gym and I see a very beautiful lady, and I just want to, talk to her. I just want to make a new friend, you know, and but for some reason I just couldn't muster up the courage, you know, like what should I say? Should I start with compliment? Should I should I just walk straight up to her and ask about what workout is she doing? Because most of the time I feel like I'm not a gym junkie, and I feel like most of the time those beautiful lady there, they are actually very good at what they're doing. They are very fit. So I don't know how to start the topic. I don't know how to make friends. I was scared like if I open up topic and people think that I'm weird, you know. But if you ask me right now, if there are someone, let's say if I'm bench pressing, and then I'm so locked in, I'm gonna hit my new PR, and someone just cut me off, maybe during my rest uh, rep, right? Would I be angry? No, you know. And let's say if they ask something like, you know, like let's say they start a conversation with something like just plain, like they never think about it, right? Let's say they ask, "Hey, I saw you around for so many times. I just stop saying hi because I have never, we've never spoke to each other. Just want to say hi to you. How are you doing?" It feels natural to I wouldn't get angry. In fact, I will forget about the reps, forget about the PR. I'll chat with her. If it's a guy, I will chat with the guy. Would I think they are weird? No. But that's why I say, like, there's so much that I imagine, like the outcomes that I imagine. Will 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 they like me? Like, no matter if it's a guy or a girl, if I speak to them, will they like me? And because I was fearing the possible rejection, uh, I was fearing that so much that I hold myself hostage of what could be maybe like a beautiful friendship could blossom from there, you know. And it's also very interesting to me that we would imagine the worst, or maybe it's just me, like we would imagine the worst possible outcome that would happen, but we will never imagine like the best possible outcome that could happen. Like, why wouldn't I think about that? I know I'm mm, why? Like, maybe if we were to talk about this very in a very biological manner, in a very psychological manner, maybe that people are inherently, we fear rejection. We fear that we are not able to be part of a society. Um, Maybe that's why people are inherently afraid to give presentations. Because what if, as I speak around a few points, people just disagree with me? People will think I'm not that great looking. People will think I'm weird. People will think like, oh, why this guy's nose is so big? Why is he wearing that? you know like, would I think about those when I see people giving a presentation? Maybe yes, 20%, right? If he's really wearing something weird. But if he's talking about something that he's passionate, if he's really want to, if his intention is very clear, I don't think I'll ever doubt him. Like, maybe it might be weird for someone to talk, to walk up to me and talk, but I wouldn't feel it's weird that people want to know about me, people want to speak about me. um, I will feel, in fact, I will feel grateful, you know. So that was the second theme, um, about the idea of that we suffer more in our imagination than in our reality, you know. So coming back to the first theme, like, why would I worry so much about the future, right? Why would I want to control something that is not within uh, my control, you know? And I also don't like the idea that sometimes when I worry so much, and suddenly there was a text coming in and asked me like, Fong, do you do branding? Do you do this project? Could you help me? Uh, I have this very small project. I don't know if you like take it on. Uh, do you want to try? And because of those texts, of course, I become very happy. Hey, someone want me to help. Someone is looking for my service. And of course, that's a great thing. I feel like it should be celebrated, right? Because actually, just because like today, there was someone who just talked to me that they want to hear me out, like how would I quote the web design, and I was quite happy, and then I treated myself like two dessert today. I was that happy. But is that healthy? Yet? No, I don't think I should be. I don't think I should be calm. I'm trying to find my words. Like, it does feel like to me that my emotions are controlled by the external things outside, you know, that wasn't within my control in the first place. So, for example, let me just give two contrasts. So, the first example is that people want to find me for help. I feel grateful and I feel super happy, and then I treated myself to dessert. I feel so worth it. That's the first example. The second example, second very contrast example is that someone, sorry, um, 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 I was I was writing my planner, and then I don't know if someone would still want to collaborate with me, and because of that, I get anxious. Both are not things that I could control, but my emotions are controlled by those kind of things. Like, my emotions are controlled by uncertainty, no matter if they are good or if they are bad. So I don't think both of them are healthy. You know, um, because that just means that I'm a I'm a I'm a slave to my emotion. Of course, feelings are great. I shouldn't disregard my emotion, but it's just I feel that um, there are some there are sometimes that we have to make it clear that um, over worrying will not lead me to anywhere. You know, if there are some problems that I couldn't solve it now, then waiting it out is the natural answer. Is the natural solution. Sometimes doing nothing and letting the future unfold itself is the only solution. Because we just like most of the time we just lack the right condition or right answer to pick the right outcome to make certain things happen. You know. Um, so what could be the antidote to this? The antidote to the idea that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. I feel like, again, it's something that I always try to remind myself. um, that having faith is very important. Having faith in yourself. If you are religious, having faith, you put your faith in God, right? If you don't have a religion, you put your faith in something like in a future that you believe, or in this case myself, you know. Um, and I think that's why perhaps it's very hard for me. Like I will still make the mistake that I will still make the mistake of questioning my own faith, because I, as a non as an agnostic, as a non-religious person, like I just I just not sure like if my faith is really strong enough, if I could really power through this, But how sometimes I wish how good would it be? I don't like, if I would. It's not to say I don't believe in God, but um, like I believe the existence of the spiritual beings, but I just couldn't. I just not sure how does it work. Like you put your faith in in the spiritual beings, um, but maybe that's why like having being religious, I think it's a good advantage. To be honest, like a lot of the very successful people I know, online or even like people I don't know, there are even more of them. They are religious people, and then if you ask them like, "Do you believe in God?" They say they believe in God. You know, even people who are not successful in the idea of material world, maybe they are just a chill guy. Most of them they are also religious to some extent, you know. And I feel there is also it it feels it also feels quite unburdened to put faith in other thing rather than putting it on yourself, because if you put it on yourself, you feel like everything is your responsibility, which makes it which when something tough happen, a very rough situation happens, you will start questioning your faith, and I think that's what I'm going through right now, you know um, but I guess what I want to say is like it's very important, uh, for me to recognize that if putting faith in myself is uh, uh, like I only have myself to believe in, then I should wholeheartedly believe myself that I have the ability to create a future that I want. And this is a little bit related to the idea of manifestation, you know, and it's a whole topic that I think I would like to talk more about in future, because there are some things that I feel like a lot of the things that I was thinking about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 months ago, they are unfolding in front of my eyes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's quite crazy that happens. Of course, we work towards it, but the idea of like you you work towards it, not knowing that if that thing will happen or not, and when that happens, you call it manifest. It's also quite a funny idea, but it's as real as it feels when something good happened to you. So that's the idea of manifestation, which I feel like is very funny to me, but it's very real also. um, so yeah, I feel like the antidote to the idea of like the idea of we suffer more in our imagination and in reality is really understand where do you place faith. um, for those who once like me in the past who don't believe in anything. Like you don't put faith in other people, you don't put faith in religion, you don't even put faith in yourself. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to navigate that. I remember the first time. I remember the decision of putting faith in myself, like the the strong, uh, like that one timing that made me decide to put faith in myself is that I feel I could actually, if I want to, I would, I could take control of things. And because I know I could take control of things, I can believe in myself. I think that's the one and maybe the only one pathway of creating faith in yourself. Like for example, um, I wanted to, like back then when I haven't created my own agency, I'm still working. I have a job, uh, and I have a very strong sense of like I have like financial insecurity. I always feel like I wasn't earning enough, uh, or I'm not investing enough. Um, um, and I I try to think back, like what's really holding me back from earning more, you know. Then I started to write it down. Like I was I was stupid that time. I should I don't know a lot of things. Of course, I couldn't create value. Of course, my employer wouldn't. I mean, I have good employers. Okay, I want to preface that. All of my previous employers they are great people. I just feel like um, I have to recognize that there are limits to the value that I can bring to my job, right? If my job is only worth that certain amount of money, of course I will get paid that money, you know. But if I believe that I could create more value, then I would already negotiate with my employers like, hey, maybe could I get this kind of raise, um, um, you know. But I was very self-aware during that time. I I just couldn't contribute that much, you know. And okay, so knowledge, like not enough knowledge, is one of the things that was holding me back. And I wanted to freelance, but I just couldn't have the energy after the day job, you know. So meant so having the brain capacity, like my brain capacity is holding me back. And what else? Um, um, and during that time, I wasn't in the best shape, you know. I'm like pretty much most of the guys, you know, um, just came up from the workforce, you know, uh, and we want the nice things. Uh, but to be frank, I'm not that materialistic, I would say. But of course, I yearn for companionship, you know. And I would start to think like, what should I do to, get, so that other people would like me, so. And I know I'm not in the best shape. I have a anatomy of a spider, I would say, because my limbs were so skinny, and I have like the 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 all the fats were on my tummy, so it doesn't look good. My anatomy is like just um skewed, I would say. um but if you think of it, like all these kind of things that are actually they are actually things that you can control in your life. So I wrote down all the things that I wasn't satisfied with myself, And during that time, I was still very clear. I remember I don't have a life goal. I don't know where should I go towards next. Uh, but I know what I need to fix so that I deserve a goal that I could write. I know that if I don't fix all these things, if I don't fix my knowledge, if I don't fix my health, if I don't fix my mental health, those will become those will hold me hostage of achieving something greater. Right? If I were to say like my goal is to earn X amount of money within 1 year, right? I, During that time, I wasn't in that position to write that goal because there's so much in myself to fix, you know. So yeah, of course I have to fix myself. But it's when I was doing all those, and when I go to gym, when I take on extra classes after my day job, uh, I noticed like I improved as a person, and my confidence was built during that time, and my faith. I start to slowly have faith in myself. Like, hey, I could actually do this. I don't know if I could actually earn more, but the fact that I'm able to improve my physics, uh, and improve my knowledge, I'm more confident in telling people solutions. I'm more confident in my day job, proposing uh, design that works. That becomes a positive cycle to increasing my faith. So as that happens, every good thing that happens becomes an evidence that you should write it down so that you can always remember and you can always refer, you know. And I think that's something that I didn't do, you know. Um, a lot of people are telling me like, Fong can do it, Fong can do it. And I don't know where do they get the confidence that they know I could do it. Back in the day, they just say that I could do it, I could deliver. Um, and yeah, I didn't wrote down those positive comments. So it's very hard for me right now to track like what people feel about me. And when the bad things happen to me, when I couldn't achieve something, um, and then I start ruminate. Then I only remember the things that I only would remember the things that I tell myself, which are all the negative thoughts, and that will decrease my faith. So I think that keeping an evidence of the good things that happen to you is very important. I think this is not from me. This is from one of the YouTuber that I saw a very long time ago. His name is called Alex Hormozy. He's quite a famous guru, I think. I didn't really watch all his teachings, but his that one advice from him really stuck with me. Yeah, really uh, uh, keep the positive things that happen in your life, the positive comments that you receive as the evidence, you know, so that you could build confidence from there. And as some of the people who are listening to this might feel weird, like isn't that a natural thing for you to do? Wouldn't you remember all the good things that people say about you? Unfortunately for me, it's not really. Uh, uh, and maybe that's why I am very harsh towards myself. Uh, and knowing that, I should probably keep more. I should probably keep more of evidence of the good things that happen to me and celebrate every small wins. not by eating two desserts. That's not very helpful because like one of the dessert I ate is like ABC, so it's a lot of sugar, and then I have like a tea life, again another sugar. I wanted to say slight sugar, but I said less sugar because I didn't order tea life for so long. I thought less is slight, but when I order less sugar and I drink, it was so sweet, and then I regret, and then I feel bad. Yeah. So um, coming back to the topic, we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Um, there's really not much else to elaborate. I feel like a lot of the people who, especially who just came out from the workforce, who just joined the workforce, I mean, um, who struggle with confidence issue, who struggle with the self-worth issue. Uh, yeah, I hope this video really helps you uh, to to be able to identify uh, what to do in order to gain your faith, to understand that uh, being present is very important. Uh, Not to say you shouldn't have imagination. Imagination is what propels us to a greater goal. But if you find yourself stuck or ruminate um, inside bad things, know that you the fact that you have a body that exists in the physical presence means that you are able to take control of things, and and hence good things will happen, and you should always remember that, so that you have faith in yourself that things in the future, there will be good things happen in the future as long as you do good things now, and always trust the process, and good things will happen to you. And as I'm saying this to you, it's also my reminder. Uh, yes. So there was a very long yapping. Um, I didn't script all this. I didn't write it all this in script. I was just freestyling it, and I'm glad that I figured it out as I speak. So yeah, this will not be edited because I want to let you feel like the raw. Uh, um, it's also my way of practicing podcasting style kind of video. But I'm very grateful that if you really watch from the beginning to the end, I'm very grateful that you are staying for this 33 minutes. So yeah, I hope that good things will happen to you. Um, and 2 months left to 2026. Stay locked in. Thank you.